Class, this is Will Foy, and the objective of this briefing is for each listener to understand two objectives of my own personal leadership philosophy. The first being that there is a difference between being a manager and being a leader, and the second component of it is how I view servant leadership. So the reason that I bring up being a manager and being a leader and the difference between them is because of my current job as in recruiting command for the Army. I'm in a leadership position and I have leaders above me. Sometimes I feel that those leaders are more wrapped around production and how many numbers we have, and they're pushing the production side of it rather than worried about the individual soldiers. So for me, that's a huge pet peeve right now, and one of those things that I'm trying to, as you go up in rank, you can adjust more and more things, and you're more in control of things. So I'm trying to be more in control of how I view leadership as a whole, which is what leads me to this minor and just learning as much as I can about it, and how that relates to my job and then what I can do better as I get promoted and take on more responsibility and those types of things. So being a manager, you're primarily responsible with pushing production in some form. You're only worried about results. You're not worried about the people underneath you. You're not worried about the feelings of anyone. You're not worried about anything other than what is the objective that your job tells you to do, and then how you get to that. You're not worried about who you step on. You're not worried about anything else. You only care about that bottom line number. And for me, that's a major concern, because if you take the person aspect out of it and you don't worry about people, then the work environment suffers, the morale of the team suffers, and then you run into more issues. Anyone who does a little bit of research can see a few years ago there were major issues in recruiting command and Army with a high number of suicides in the Houston, Texas area. And a lot of that had to do with people who were in leadership positions that should have been looking out for soldiers, only being concerned about the production of those soldiers and what they were bringing to the table rather than the soldiers themselves. So that's a huge concern for me. One of the reasons that I'm in this is so that I can learn as much as possible about what I'm doing, how to be a better leader, how to be a more effective leader, and then kind of take the managing side out of it. I have a personal belief that you can be a manager, you can be a great manager, but as a great manager, and that's all you care about is the production piece of it, you're not going to be a great leader. However, as a great leader, you can be a great manager. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the second part of this is how I view the servant leadership aspect of it. Servant leadership, there really is two components of that for me. The first is I have an objective, and servant leadership for me is how am I going to get to that objective? How am I going to reach that obstacle? How am I going to overcome that? And then the second part of that is how are we taking care of people? So we have to take care of people in the same regard of the bigger picture. So it's not just not like a component of it's this or this. They both have to meld together. You have to take both of them, and then that's how you build all of your leadership strategies based on that. Is I have an objective, this is what I have to do, but I have to take care of these people in order for the people to work towards that objective as well. So it has to go from being a my mission thing to a team mission, and then everyone on the team has to feel included. And that's all part of leadership. It's the influencing, it's all those different types of things that we've all read about. I'm sure everyone's looked up 1,000 different definitions of what leadership is. But it basically comes down to influencing people. But a big part of that is how we take care of people, how we do those types of things. So that's part of my leadership philosophy. That's where I'm trying to do better. I want to have more control over what I can do, what I can't do, what I should do, what I should not do. Those types of things, and just how I'm going to be better at my job so I can influence more people to do more, and we can all achieve the objective. Everyone can go home happy. A key component of leadership for us in the military is that you don't have to like everybody, because that's not going to happen. You have to be firm but fair with the people that work for you. And then in addition, you just have to treat them with respect. and then they're going to respect you, and it goes a long way. I'm not friends with them. I don't hang out with them on the weekends, but they know if they need something, they can call me, and I'm going to be there for them. And that's what being a leader is all about to me. So hopefully you understand two more of the philosophies that I have, or the components of my leadership philosophy, and the fact of that there is a difference between being a manager and being a leader, and in addition, how I view servant leadership. Thanks. Have a good night.